This is your gap recap video for the week of February 26th through March 1st. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. I'm going to point out all the gaps that have closed to the north side and all of the gaps that have closed to the south side and any gaps that have developed in between the week that I am covering. First up is Boeing. We ended the week at $200. Down 1.83%. The day's low, 199.01. The day's high, 205.06. This is where we ended. Now, the gap that I am tracking would take us to this level at 209.24. As you can see, we have not gotten there yet. This gap takes us to 217.69. And above that, another gap takes us to 222.69. We are not in the channel, not in the zone, but something to be aware of. Now this gap, let me move this out. At the beginning of the week, I talked about this gap. So this one is still in play for this upcoming week, March 4th through the 8th. That takes us down to 196.98. Right? And then this gap right out of the gate, I extended it. When I track this, if I'm talking about it on a Friday or on a Monday, I just extend this out, not knowing where it's going to hit. And basically right out of the gate on Monday, this one closed out right there. So this is no longer a threat to our accounts to the downside. You can see this little one moved up, gapped up and filled. So that's nice. Now, the other stocks I am tracking to the south side because there is always a south side. Takes us down to 193.87. And then this gap, roughly 191. And then this one, roughly 186. We are not in the range, not in the channel, something to be aware of. We are going down on the 5-minute time frame. Next one is Apple. This one is a new one for this past week, although I've been in Apple forever and it's been very well. It's done phenomenally for me. All right, note here the bounce at support, sell off at resistance, bounce at support, sell off close to resistance. All right, 179.66, the gap that I was tracking takes us out at 186.22, and we are still in it. It has not closed, and we are not in the channel, not in the zone. I'm not tracking anything else to the downside. Nothing really happened with Apple this past week that sticks out technically. Oh, other than, well, that's the news side. They are abandoning ship on the Apple car. I'm so highly disappointed. I was just waiting for that car to come out so I could see it, possibly get it. I have a reserve on Tesla and I don't really want to get the Tesla vehicle, the Cybertruck, because I am an Apple user. I've used so many of their products and obviously I'm in Apple deep and wanted to continue to support them. So Tim Cook abandoned ship, and I don't know. Do you guys think he should leave? It's time for him to go. You spend billions of dollars or however much he spent, and then you're saying no. You're going to focus on AI. Okay, don't get me started. I think it's time for a change. Time for a leadership change. Let me know what you think. Even though I think Tim Cook is brilliant. I just think it's time to go. It's like my HOA. If you've been a board member for 20 years plus, it's time for you to go. You're getting stale. Although Tim Cook is going into AI. That's good. It's a little late though. Okay, that's my 2 cents right there. Let me quickly go through the other ones. Nike. 101.88. Again, all I'm doing is pointing out gaps, okay? At least I'll stick to the program here. This gap developed. We went down, closed out to the upside right there. This one, we went up, so then I anticipate down, and it closed right here. But that's not the gap that I have been tracking. That's just something that opened up. So this, for me, this up here is my move, my expected move that I'm tracking. But these two gaps developed meantime. But this will take us to 110.17, and then I think that's 122.40-ish right there. Not in the channel, not in the zone, something to be aware of. I am in Boeing for my mom, Apple for myself, Nike for my mom, Uber. I traded that a long time ago. All right, so Uber is next. Wait a minute, is there another gap? No, that's the end of that. All right. What's happening here? Let me mark this out. 81.03. I just use the arrows up and down. Change the color. Show you what I like to do, how I like to mark things out. Color code everything. Makes it easy to look at. This was the gap. Oh, my plants are going all over the place outside. We are having severe windstorms here. I think up to 70, 75 miles an hour winds. It is nuts. My plants are all over the place. Okay, 81.26. You would think it's like a light hurricane outside. It's psycho. And look at that. Yay. On Uber, back to Uber. We closed out. So this is done. Done. Now you can expect this to go down. Wah, wah, wah. What goes up must come down. What goes down doesn't necessarily go back up again, but sometimes you do have to get down to get back up. And look in the past. We have tanked in the past and making our way back up. Look at this 52-week low, 29.22. All right, these two gaps developed this week. So that's an opportunity to do a quick trade. That's to the downside at 78.44. And this one, still in play. So what did I say? We're at resistance. I will anticipate us to eventually fall, because once we get up to here, you can expect it to make its way back down to then go back up again, possibly. Just learn to read the charts. You know, I noticed that many of my viewers are between the ages of 35 and 44. And if you're in that age bracket, my advice to you is to dollar cost average, get an ETF and set it and forget it, and save 20% of your income for a rainy day in cash. 20%. Eat beans and rice, top ramen, whatever you have to do. Save your money for a rainy day. 76.57 to the downside. $69 to the south side there. And anything? No, that's the last gap. Oh, so I'm done tracking this stock. That's it, kids. Let's see here. Let me write this down. Uber is done. So I will look for another trade for you when I do my gap and go trades for the week of March 4th through the 8th. But just note, there are gaps to the south side. I'm not tracking these. I like to track gaps to the north side and point out the ones to the south side. And I'm done. All right, BABA. 74.62 is where we ended. We had gaps develop. So that will take us to 78.09 roughly. This gap is it within this big gap, but just for giggles, that gap right there at 77.68. But it starts right here. And then this gap takes us to, I know it gets confusing. Stay with me. 78.46. And then to the south side, this will take us down starting at 74.49 roughly. 74.01. This gap takes us down to 73.15, 71.63 down here. A lot of landmines to the south side. So if you'd like to go short, here you go. I'm in BABA. BABA is highly disappointing, although it was turning around for a little while. Now it's back down again. All right, there you go. But what was I tracking here? All right, this gap touched. Well, this gap actually, does it look like this closed? Sometimes you have to make this bigger to see. No, it didn't touch. Nope, close, no cigar. Still something to look forward to. Thought I was seeing something, seeing things. All right, SLB. Here we are at resistance and falling down to support. The natural cycle there. I don't expect much. Just playing within my range. This gap within this bigger gap, that was from the previous week. So look at this. It touched right there. No longer something to keep track of to the upside. We are done, and then we hit resistance. So this gap still in play. I'm gonna just erase this because it's too many gaps right here close to each other. It gets wonky. 53.03 to the upside. So that's a nice return. Another 38% return at $68. I'm going to take it right now to 53. That's all I'm tracking. Yeah, that's it. Alrighty, for Altria, we're at the middle of the trend, basically. This gap that I am tracking takes us to $42. We almost touch it here, and then we slam down to support. 42.40. Nothing to the south side. Exelon Corporation at the middle of the trend. Now, this gap did not touch, still in play. For next week, takes us to 36.62. This one takes us to 37.89. Not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. We are going down. This gap developed within this week and did not touch yet, so it's still in play. That will take us to roughly $34.75 to the south side. This is Pfizer. I'm in this trade for my mom. 26.59, grinding at the middle of the trend where price always goes to before it goes to the south side or takes us to the north side. Just expect it to sit and hover around the baseline, the middle of the trend before it moves. What is this? What did I mark? Oh, that's because I can't see it off this line. All right, this was from the previous week and it touched right there. So yay, that's done. Or 2 weeks ago. Oh, well, I'm sorry. This developed the week of the 20th, and then this week it closed out right basically at the get-go in the beginning of the week, Monday. So that's done. No longer a threat to the south side, but we are continuing to go down lower lows. Bounce at, but there's always a trade within that, and that's a bounce at support to resistance. Resistance, back down, didn't quite make it down to support, but made our way back down, but we're grinding along up a little and then down, but along the baseline. All right, this gap, what happened here? This was from the previous week, and because I have all these lines, it's hard to see. All right, right from the get-go, this one, oh, that closed out on Friday. Okay, but I didn't mark it. That's done. Remove. This gap is, oops, still in play. And this one will take us to 27.77. It was not the original gap that I was tracking. This was the nice one that I was tracking. But because we have to hit this number to get to this number, I'm including that as part of my gap and go even trade, just that gap, even though that wasn't the intent, the original. It just opened up. So now I will start to track it. All right, those are price targets. They're always old. Make sure you update them yourself so you know your goal, you know where you're possibly heading. So look at this, Pfizer, 26.59. So I think I will put in a buy order for my mom because I do need to dollar cost average now that we're getting to the levels that I purchased. And I bought some at 28, unfortunately, and at 26, but I do believe the stock will turn around. The 1 year price target, 31.45. I won't get the jab. You can't pay me enough to get the jab, but I will certainly trade it. Tesla, something happened to my account here. This is the problem I have with TradingView. It gets wonky on me. And when I went to look at it, everything that I had written out and charted was gone. So that's it, people. But I just wanted to show this to you. You'll have to go back to my old videos to see whoops, Control Z if you don't know, to fix that. Something happened. See what I mean? And I can't make fast movements on this, and I can't go between the different time frames without something going wonky on me. So I think, right here, let me just look at this huge drop to the south side. See, some of the things stayed, but all of my gaps, which is what I'm tracking here for you, gone, disappeared. Let me just do this one for now. I was thinking about just dumping this because I do not want to start over. We went down, so I anticipate a gap up. And obviously, this is the Tesla Yield Max Tesla options income strategy. If Tesla is too expensive for you or you don't want to trade it, it's too risky, this could be a potential ETF that you might want to do research on. So right here, this will take us to 1947. And then other gaps that I'm tracking too. So I will take this very slowly with redrawing all of my gaps. This gap down, I anticipate a gap up. Whenever it does, could take a long time, but it's something to look forward to. And obviously, analysts, they do not give price targets for ETFs. You have to figure that on your own. But you don't need to be an analyst. You can just figure out where the range of price is going to be and go from there. Okay? And I don't know about the south side, okay? There's a big landmine right here. I can just, sticks out at you. Once you've trained your eyeballs to see gaps, it's hard not to notice them. And then it's hard not to think, oh gosh, it's either going to crack, my account's going to crack, or the positive side that it'll go up. All right, this needs to be changed. to red. Not in the channel, not in the zone, but when I started tracking this, Tesla tanked along with Tesla. It follows Tesla. So now we're grinding our way back up, and definitely it's more affordable. But look at the 52-week low, 1692. Next one, Rivian. For the gaps, this is a continuation from the previous week. That will take us to 1143. And there was a gap that I saw right here, a tiny little one up. That means we will flush down and close out, and we did at roughly 1134. And look where we ended, 1135 for the day. Okay, and then this one closed out. But a lot of trades within the week that you can do, but it's so hard. If you're tracking many stocks like I do, it's just too much sometimes. But sometimes it's almost better to play one or two stocks and then just work it every single time. That's a strategy that I think I would like to try once I sell out on many of my positions, but that's going to be a long ways away. Okay, this one, 1533. And then above that, 1778. SOFI, I'm in this one for myself and for my mom. This is a gap that I'm tracking to the north side at 963, not there. 994, not there. Oops. Command Z if you're using an Apple product, your Apple Mac or whatever it is. Command Z. Command Z. Oh, there we go. If you command it enough, it will do it. Haha. All right. That one will take us to 1129. Oh my gosh, the wind is crazy again. To the south side, that one. 857, we gapped up. Anticipate it to close to the downside. We're not in the channel, not in the zone for the closure of it, but look at this. We could, if we continued to go down, get there on March 11th. It could be quicker or not get there if we start to reverse. This is a highly manipulated stock. Okay. Well, there's nothing worse than AMC, actually. Well, there could be something worse. I don't know. I'm not tracking AMC too much right now, although I do own it. All right. This one to the south side, 802. Oh, look. This is a nice surprise here. Right out of the gate, this gap that I was tracking from the 20th that opened up closed right here to the upside. So this is done. Delete. This is done. Delete. And this one touched, but not done. But we're going down on the 5-minute time frame. We give it all back. That's why sometimes it's just better to trade the range, get in, get up, get out. Don't linger. Otherwise, it's going to slap you in the face. But long term, it's better for you. All right, 994, 1129, I think that's it. And finally, NIO. I just did a video on NIO for No Filter. He asked about my opinion for earnings. All right. And I just did a video on that. Just check it out. Another trader named Monica is also interested in this. And I know Murat has also traded and tracked this one for quite some time with me. So here are your targets. Oh, no, I want to give that later. This is just the gap and go. Sorry, otherwise it's going to get longer. I'll do that in a second. Okay, for the gaps. I got sidetracked. This gap, well, let's back it up even more. This gap opened up this week, right from the get-go on Monday, and closed out. No longer a threat to our account to the downside. Bye-bye. All right. This one that I've been tracking that opened up, that was not the original gap that I was tracking, but it opened up the week of the 20th. And this week, right here, we touched to the upside. So I predicted that price and it came true. Okay. And this one opened up this week. And look at that, it closed this week. So you had, wait a second, let me extend this one. That one closed out at 577, basically right where we ended today. Oops, Command Z. This one opened up this week and is still in play to the south side. Now, if we extend this to earnings day, right there. So if we continue to go up, this could, if it doesn't close out on Monday, which has the possibility, could close out by Tuesday. All right, but that will take us down to 545. And for NIO, basically there were multiple trades that could have been made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could have made 5 moves in this 1 week to the ups, not 5. Well, really, this is still in play. But there were 5 moves. This one gaps up. So now you can anticipate this to close. And it could touch here. And anything outside these outliers, I have to give it more time to close. But -2 and 2 all day long, as I've said many times. Okay, and that's it. That is a look at my gap recap for the week of February 26th through March 1st. Now, watch out for my next video, which will be from March 4th through the 8th, and I will actually give you price targets. And then I will also add a new ticker in and replace Uber. And I don't think anything else closed, but if I made a mistake, I'll fix it in my next Gap and Go trades video. Have a great trading week.